rather than starting my cut in May, the show is now May 21st. Hello, good morning. Hope everybody's had their coffee today. I definitely need it. Just got back from a back workout today. My workouts have actually been taking a lot longer. I've kind of changed up my split a little bit. It's more or less what they call a bro split now, where it's one body part per day. Some days, like today, I did back. That was the main focus. And then I did a little bit of arms at the end. I don't really have a designated arm day per se, but the split currently is Sunday. I usually hit chest and triceps. Tuesday is usually back day. Wednesday is just legs. Thursday, I do chest and triceps again. And Friday, I do back and biceps. So I'm really only hitting biceps once, maybe twice a week, depending on how I'm feeling. And then for shoulders, I usually will throw that in on either leg day, depending on how that's going, or I will hit it on one of my chest days. The reason that I hit most body parts twice a week is obviously for growth. The more times that you can hit each group per week, typically the more that you'll grow. Obviously you have to have some rest in there as well, which is why I split it up the way that I do. So just to talk a little bit about progress, I'm going to open up my workouts here. As far as chest, I kind of have two different days. So one of my days is more of an upper chest focus. The other day is more of an outer chest focus. The upper chest is something that obviously everybody wants. That gives you that dominant look. The shelf is what they call it now. The outside of your chest is obviously what brings it up. For my warm-up, typically what I'll do is like an incline machine press. I do 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps. I don't really go super heavy on it. I like to feel the movement. The other thing that I like to do for my warm-up is, they call them ladder push-ups. On a Smith machine, you can obviously rack the bar in different heights. What I'll do is I'll start at a very, very high incline. I'll do 10 push-ups there, and then I'll just keep dropping it until I get down to almost a flat, and then you build yourself back up. It's a really good way to get blood into your chest, get everything moving. What I'll start off with is incline Smith bench. I usually use about a 40-degree angle. Somewhere between 37 and 45 is perfect for your upper chest. Week 1 of this style workout, sets and reps, I do 5, and then I do 12, 10, 8, 8, 6, and then I do a drop set at the very end. I did 155 for 12, 185 for 10, 205 for 8, 215 for 8, and then 225 for 6. Then I drop set that to 135, and I did 12 reps there. The second week, I did 165 for 12, 205 for 10, 225 for 8, 230 for 8, and 245 for 6. And then I did a double drop set this week. I went to 225 and I hit 10 reps there. Then I dropped it again and I did 20 reps at 155. So you can see, really in 2 weeks, there was a lot of progress made as far as my top set. I don't believe that that's anything to do with, I guess, just basic progression. I think most of it is just muscle memory, kind of getting used to that movement. I'm hoping eventually to be able to do about 275 on incline. That'd be a good goal to hit. That's very heavy. especially for 6 to 8 reps. So after that, I move into incline dumbbell flies. This here, I typically will do more of like a 30-degree incline, so not nearly as high as I like for the incline Smith press. The reason that I do that is I like to go a little bit deeper with the fly so that I can really feel everything stretch out. Sets and reps, I usually do 4 sets. I like to go 10, 10, 8, 8, and then I do a drop set at the end of that, and I go to failure. So week 1, I started with the 40s, moved up to the 50s, and then I did 2 sets of 8 at the 60-pound dumbbells. The reason that I have to stop at 60 is that's as high as my gym goes, so I can only really go that high. And then I did a drop set. I just did the 30-pound dumbbells until failure. It looks like I did about 15 reps. The second week, I started off with the 50s, and then I did 3 sets with the 60-pound dumbbells. So there's a little bit of progression there. Obviously, like I just said, I can't really go any higher than that. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to up the amount of reps/sets, whichever I decide to do for that week, and try to get more out of myself. This week, I did 3 sets, 60-pound dumbbells, and I did, it looks like 10 reps for each of those sets, which is pretty good. And then I did a drop set to 30, and I did 25 reps. So I've already done more reps on that drop set than I did last week. Again, don't think that that's really any major progress that I'll see like consistently. I think most of it is just getting used to the movements and knowing exactly how it feels. After that, I move on to the Pec Deck, so the machine flies. It looks like I do 3 sets, and I go 12, 12, 10. And I like to set it up so that I go as far as I can extend back. My mobility isn't fantastic, so it's not very far. The first week I did 115, then 130, and then 145. The second week I did 130, 145, 165. So the weights went up there too, a little bit of progression. I think this progression is going to slow down, especially with the weights that I'm getting into, but that'll just come over time. The fourth exercise is the flat Smith machine bench press. And I do 3x5 and what they call trifectas. So it is more or less for every 1 rep that you're doing, you're going to do 2 half to 3/4 reps. So you're going to go like 1 and then just quarter, and then 2. So 3x5. The first week was 155, 185, 205, and then 225. The second week it was 205, 205, 225, 230. So a little bit of progress there. Again, I'd like to see that number get up closer to like 250 would be a good weight for that. And then I do dumbbell pullovers. That's the last movement for me. What I'll do is 3x12. I like to go as deep as I possibly can and feel everything stretch. The first time that I did it, I only used like a 20-pound dumbbell just to feel it, know kind of what's going on. It feels like it's ripping apart your chest is basically what these pullovers are for. It just stretches everything out. The second week, I did move up to the 35s, which was a little bit heavier. 12, 12, and 10. So I didn't really finish that side of it. It looks like I'll be sticking with the 35s again until I can get 3 sets of 12. All right, so that was one of my chest days. I'm going to kind of speed it up for the next ones and just kind of go over really what I do for these days. The next day is more of a outer chest focus day. I do incline Smith machine presses, and I actually use one of the machines. I don't like to use the Smith for this because I do that on my upper chest day. I go 7x9. It's kind of odd doing a lot of sets with quite a few reps, but I really like to just get blood into the chest, obviously feel everything moving. And then I get into my first real heavy movement, which is flat dumbbell flies. And what I like to do for these is I do a couple warm-up sets. In my 2 working sets, what I like to do is I like to go real deep to failure. And I'll usually use somewhere like a 50-pound dumbbells. But what I'll do is as soon as I can't get another fly, I'll switch over and do dumbbell presses to failure as well. So that's kind of like a dual movement in one. Then I go over to the flat bench again, and I do the trifectas that I just explained. But I'll do 3, and I'll go for, typically it's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then I get into just a heavy bench press where my top set is usually about 250 pounds. 255 last week was my highest, and I'd like to see that get up closer to eventually about 315 pounds. Then I go into pec decks. I do 4 by 10 to 12 and really just feel the movement. The next one is my back workout. I do 2 different back workouts, one for back thickness, one for lat development. This one here is my thickness day. My warm-up, I always do somewhere between 75 to 100 reps between pull-ups, pull-downs, every different grip pull-down. I like to do pullovers at this time, just really get blood into my back. And then I go into close grip T-bar rows. I like to do 5 sets. I go 12, 10, 8, 8, 6. My first week that I did this, I did 60, 70, 80, 100, 100. And that's on the dual pulley machine. So technically these numbers are doubled if you're going on a single pulley machine. And then the next week I did 80, 90, 110, 120, and 130, which is maxing out that pulley system that they have there. So that's as heavy as I can go is 130. What I'd like to see there is maybe 3 sets at 130. Obviously, getting stronger, but also focusing on those movements. Then I do a chest supported T-bar row. I like to do a low row for this. I really feel my lats, my lower lat when I do this. There's been a little bit of progression there. My top set, my first week was 110 pounds for 8 reps. My top set the second week was 130 pounds. So adding a little bit of weight there. The next movement is reverse grip pull downs. I've been really loving doing these pull downs because I feel everything stretch. My first week, I only got up to 180 pounds as far as the pull downs for 8 reps. The second week, I did 200 pounds for 8 reps. So that was pretty good. A little bit of progress there. And then I like to do a wide grip seated row. And what I'll do here is I'll just focus on moving everything and focus on targeting my upper back. That's one of the spots that I'm lacking. I typically will do somewhere between 100 and 130 pounds. And I just go for reps. I do 4 sets to failure. And then after that, I'll go back into pull-ups and pull-downs, every different grip, every angle that I possibly can, and I just go to failure. I don't choose a very heavy weight. I just choose something that I think I can do somewhere between 40 and 50 reps between a couple of different sets and just go for it. For lats, it's all kind of the same thing, but I'll do single arm rows, single arm pull downs. I do T-bar rows again, but I'll do these close grip. And then I do the reverse grip lat pull downs on this day as well. And then I'll do bent over rows. So I still do a little bit of back thickness work, but the day is focused around my lats. Now, one of my favorite days as of recently is my leg day. What I do for a warm-up, I do 3 to 5. I'd call them giant sets, just because there's more than 2 different exercises. So anything more than like a superset, I would consider a giant set. I do leg extensions, leg curls, and then both of the abductor machines. And then I usually go somewhere 10 to 12 reps, just kind of feel the movement, get the blood moving. And then I go into the leg press, which I've been loving lately. I usually do somewhere between 5 and 10 sets depending on how I'm feeling. Week 1, I got up to 660 pounds on the leg press, and that was my top set for 8 reps. The second week, I did 685 pounds. I did 4 sets there of 8 reps. Obviously, I don't think that has anything to do with, getting a bunch stronger. It's more or less just knowing how the movement feels, knowing where to place my feet. And then I move into leg extensions. And what I'll do there is I'll do 12 reps, but what I'll do is I'll hold the very top of that rep for somewhere between half a second and a full second and really get blood into my quads. Then I go into stiff leg deadlifts. My first week I moved up to 225, which is heavier than I usually do for stiff leg deadlifts. The second week I did 275 for 8 reps. And again, I think that's just knowing and feeling how heavy those movements are getting. So I kind of knew that I could do more that first week, but I didn't. The last movement that I typically will do as far as like a main set is I like to do either single leg presses or I do squats, whichever one I'm really feeling for the day. I do 4 sets of 10 reps and just really feel that movement. And then at the very end, I like to do leg extensions, leg curls, and then I do the kickback machine as well. And I just go to failure. I do 3 sets, 2 failure on each of those, and really just get blood into the legs. The last one here is my shoulder day. Like I said, I don't really have a designated shoulder day. I just kind of throw it in whenever I want to. I do 5 sets of lateral raises with the dumbbells. I just kind of move up in weight, 17.5, 20, 25, 35s. I haven't really been going any heavier than 35s just because I don't want to injure myself, obviously. But then I'll do the seated dumbbell press machine. I've been loving this machine. I usually do 4 sets, 12, 12, 10, 8, and then a drop set of 16. And then I go into rear delts. I do a lot of rear delt work just because that's somewhere that I need to focus on more. And then I do shrugs to failure on this day as well. Somewhere between 6 and 8 sets just to get your traps engaged. So that's really more or less what I've been doing lately. I've just been enjoying myself in the gym, really feeling the movements, getting a little bit stronger week to week. And obviously I hope that these numbers continue to go up the way that they are, but I don't really plan on it. I think I'm getting to that base level where I kind of know where my strength is, and then the progression will slow down. Then the last thing, the most horrible thing that could ever possibly happen to me is yesterday I was looking at the schedule again for the competitions that I want to compete in next year, and they moved it forward 3 months. So that really cuts my off season by a couple of months. Rather than starting my cut in May, which was the original plan, the show is now May 21st. So that's cool. With that in mind, that means that I'm going to have to start my prep in the next 2 weeks. To give myself about 14 weeks, I'm going to have to lose quite a bit of body fat, but currently where I'm sitting, I'm right at the cap for the weight that I can be going into my competition, so I'm not worried about my weight. But over the next 16 weeks from this point, I have to get ready for my show. So everything has changed. They pushed it forward, which just means that I'm going to have to make do and see how everything else goes. So over the next couple of weeks, things are going to change up more, and I'm excited to show you guys the process there. So thank you guys for watching. I know that I just talked for like half an hour. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see, and I'll see you next week.